If you're thinking about relocating to North Miami and you're not sure which of the neighborhoods are right for you, this video is going to be the perfect place for you to start. Today, I'm going to walk you through 3 neighborhoods: Biscayne Estates, Griffing Park Estates, and Biscayne Park Estates. We're also going to check out a little bit of North Miami's downtown area. First things first, let's jump into the computer, take a look at North Miami at a high level. All right, so here's North Miami, and it is just south of Aventura, Otis, and North Miami Beach over here. Quickest ways to get around North Miami, east to west, would be 125th Street. Now, depending on where you're coming from or where you're going, heading west on 125th Street gives you access to I-95 here. Come on a little bit, or a lot of it. And then once you get on I-95 from 125th, you can go north and south, so it can take you all the way north into Fort Lauderdale and any of the cities in between. Or it can take you all the way south here into downtown Miami. And then I-95 ends right about here and turns into US 1, which extends even further. Same thing from 125th if you're heading north. Right here at this exchange on 95, you can get on the 95 Express, or you can come over here to the Turnpike, which is tolled, but it's going to get you going north much faster because there are more lanes here and it's tolled, so people just don't want to pay the toll. Forgot to mention this one here. From 95 you can go up and then jump onto 441 as well. So I've commonly referred to North Miami Beach, Aventura, maybe even Otis to be the sweet spot of Miami-Dade County because of the connectivity that I'm explaining to you here. So 125th is kind of the main road that's going to get you around North Miami. And then you've got 135th, about 10 blocks north here. Same connectivity, so there's nothing too much different there. You also have Northeast 6th Avenue, which is kind of right in the middle of North Miami, right here. And that's a pretty heavily traveled road. And 125th going west brings you right over the bridge and into Bay Harbor Islands. And then from Bay Harbor Islands, this right here is Collins Avenue, and Collins Avenue goes north and south all over the coast of Miami-Dade County. I mean, so at a high level, look at this. These roads lead you all over, especially if you come down and connect into US 1 after I-95 ends. From North Miami, you've pretty much got a clean shot to get anywhere you want to in almost the whole South Florida metro pretty easily, especially because from 95, you can connect to all these other major roads or major highways. So this is a great feature about North Miami for sure. A couple of key notable communities here in North Miami are the Keystone Islands, Souci, and these are going to be the 2 coastal communities that are in North Miami. Now, North Miami isn't necessarily considered a coastal city, but because it's on the Biscayne Bay here, because these 2 neighborhoods are on the Biscayne Bay, they 100% are coastal. You're going to find the nicer homes here for sure. Not necessarily bigger lots, but nicer homes. And it's going to have a lot more proximity to better shopping all along here on Biscayne Boulevard. Then you've got some lesser known communities like the Enchanted Estates, which is roughly in this area right here, right behind the Enchanted Forest Park. And then you've got the Alhambra Estates. Let me see if I can draw this out for you. This is going to be the Alhambra Estates, roughly right there. Now today, I'm going to be taking you through 3 neighborhoods that I think are totally underrated, totally slept on, but great neighborhoods if you're looking for a single family home. So we're going to be looking at Free Swept, which is right about here. Griffing Estates, which is just to the east, more or less right here. And Biscayne Park, which is right here. Now, disclaimer, Biscayne Park is actually its own city. It is technically not a part of North Miami. However, all of the locals, including myself, pretty much call this North Miami. Now, there may be some people who make a distinction between the two, but I grew up understanding for this to be North Miami. In fact, all of my friends whose parents have property here, they call it North Miami. It might just be a local thing. I've been in North Miami for a really long time. And so if you're moving here from somewhere else, you might make a clear distinction between Biscayne Park and North Miami. To the locals, which is why I'm sharing this information with you in this way, this is considered North Miami. But I just had to throw out the disclaimer that Biscayne Park technically is its own city, its own small municipality, and it is not a part of North Miami. But that's going to be the 3rd neighborhood that we're going to check out. Now, North Miami is not really known for its amenities. There aren't a whole lot of them that really stand out. However, it does have some pretty special places that are worth giving a check out to. One of them, which we're going to stop by briefly later on in the video, is the Museum of Contemporary Art, right here in downtown North Miami, across 125th Street right here. So it goes from downtown North Miami, that is, goes from about Northeast 6th Avenue and the intersection of 125th down to about 14th Avenue here. And that's where the MOCA Museum is. It's a discounted rate to locals. Always has different events going on, different art from local artists, international artists. So it's a pretty cool place to check out. The Enchanted Forest Elaine Gordon Park here is huge. You can ride the ponies here. It has a big loop around that goes around the edge. That's a walking trail. And then there's a creek that runs through it here. So this is a really nice park to come hang out, be with the kids. And it's not really, it's one of those parks that's not always packed. I don't know why it doesn't get as much attention as it should, but really, honestly, it's a beautiful park. And then not in North Miami, but just north in North Miami Beach, if you head up US 1, and when you get to 163rd, you head east, you've got All of the River State Park. Now, this is a pretty well-known state park. They've got kayaking, fishing, paddle boarding, all the water activities you can possibly imagine. You're gonna find them right here. So not in North Miami, but just outside of North Miami, you'll find that. Dezerland Action Park is another great place in North Miami here that doesn't get the attention that it should. It's kind of a full service indoor park, and this place has a lot going for it, let me tell you. Let me see if I can get in here. So here the website for Dezerland Action Park. You can see it has a trampoline park, go-karting, virtual reality simulators. It's got its own roller rink, a massive arcade, and this really cool kind of like ninja warrior, I don't know, workout playground area for the kids, for adults too. Myself and my kids, along with my wife, we love going here and checking out all the different stuff that they keep adding and updating to here. I mean, just the virtual reality simulator, the arcade, and the roller skating rink alone honestly make it worth it. Add on top of it the go-karting, and let me tell you, we go here once, twice a month, let the kids run loose and have a good time. Totally slept on little action park here, right in the heart of North Miami, off of Biscayne. It's kind of tucked into the corner off of 146th Street. So as long as I've lived here, I didn't even know this thing was here. But once I found it, I mean, we can't stay away from it. So that's something to consider. Then you've got FIU here off of 151st Street. Pretty much FIU takes up this whole campus over here. And it has a library that's free to the public as long as you bring your ID and you check in. So that's pretty cool. There's two other parks or two other libraries that service the North Miami area. Let me zoom out a little bit here. There we go. So the other library is North Miami Public Library right here. It's across the street from the high school and just across the street from Cagney Park. And then you've got Golden Glades Library right here before you get to the highway exchange over here. You've got Golden Glades Library. Now this is technically in the Golden Glades community, also known as North Miami Beach, but it's pretty close to North Miami. So a lot of the time, folks will either go to North Miami Library, Golden Glades Library right here, or they'll shoot over to Biscayne and they'll use the library here at FIU. So the best shopping in North Miami, and let me tell you, North Miami is not known for its shopping, but the best shopping is going to happen all along here on Biscayne Boulevard. So right here, this is where you'll find Home Foods. You'll find Home Depot. Further south, there are some nice restaurants. And in this plaza right here, you've got Aldi's and Michael's, Burlington Coat Factory, Ross, and a few others that are not showing up right here. I believe there's a five and below in this plaza now. There's a DD's in this plaza as well. So all along Biscayne is really where you're going to go if you want big box shopping and some boutique shopping. And as we go north on Biscayne Boulevard, right here, you'll find another Ross, a TJ Maxx. There's a Walgreens right here on the corner. Let's see if it shows up. There it is. Office Max, Panera Bread, another Five Below. So you're going to find a multitude of strip shops all along Biscayne Boulevard that's going to give you all the shopping you could possibly ever need. And then, of course, if you just continue all the way north, you're only a few minutes away from Aventura Mall, which is going to be up here. So Aventura Mall is going to be probably the closest big actual mall that services North Miami. Now, real estate in North Miami, it ranges greatly, especially because part of the city is coastal. On average, on the low end, you're going to be looking at 500,000 to on the middle range, 800,000. But once you start getting coastal over here, 800,000 would be the lowest, and pretty much sky's the limit depending on what kind of property you get, especially here in Biscayne Park. So to keep things in perspective, the first neighborhood we're going to go to, Breeze Swept. Just to the east of Breeze Swept over here is Overbrook. And Overbrook, you can actually get maybe what might be considered a property in original condition, kind of a fixer-upper for 400 to 500,000. But you're going to start at that 600,000 to 800,000 range here. And then when you move over east to Griffing Estates, you're going to go up, let's call it, instead of 6 to 8, you're going to go 7 to 8, 8 and a quarter, 9. And again, I'm just giving you an estimate there. And in Biscayne Park, you're more going to start at 7, and then sky's the limit, especially because Biscayne Park has a lot of development right now. It's a whole lot going on. I'll show you a little bit more of it when we get onto the ground. But that's North Miami at a high level. All right, now that we've got an overview of the city at a high level, it's time to go take a look at our first neighborhood. But before we do that, if you're new to the channel, my name is Mark Henry. I'm a local realtor and your new source of information, your favorite new source of information for all things relocating to Miami-Dade County. Myself and my partners talk to relocators just like yourself every single week who are looking for the right home in the right neighborhood. So whether you're thinking about moving next week, next month, or next year, let's make that a smooth move. You can find my contact information in the description below, and we look forward to helping you out. All right, now let's get into Breeze Swept Estates. So this is Breeze Swept here on the map in Zillow, and I just wanted to show you what's available right now, what you can get here. And so I've got my filter set to for sale, and we're going to leave bedroom and bath as is, so it's just kind of open. And most of the clients that I'm working with are looking for single family houses, so I'm just going to leave it as single family houses and just want it wide open, as much criteria as I can get. All right, so let's take a look at what you can get here in Breeze Swept. And I don't know why, maybe because I'm cheap, I always sort my filter from low to high, because every once in a while you'll find a gem that maybe only needs $10,000, $15,000 worth of cosmetic work at a really cheap discount. Doesn't always happen, but if you're in the market looking, for sure you can find an opportunity like that. And let me see. So this at 625,000 doesn't look remodeled. I'm just going to skip that. But this one here definitely looks remodeled. So let's take a look. This is a pretty nice property. Let's just take a look at the pictures here. Obviously, totally remodeled. Has a pool. Pretty nice appliance package here. Stainless steel. Nice recessed lights. No private area for the washer and dryer, and it has a garage. So this is a great property here. Now I'm just going to interject a little bit of my own personal opinion because I know this street very well. 135th Street is a major road. It's pretty heavily trafficked, and I would probably not suggest purchasing this property for that reason. Let's get a little closer. Here it is, right here on the main 135th. There's a lot of traffic here. It scares me to death to think that my kids are going to be playing outside, make a oopsie, and ball goes into the street and they run after it. Even though I think they know better with kids, you just never know. It does have a decent sized backyard, all things considered, but this might not be a great fit for you. But I just wanted to show you at a high level, what you can get or what's actually available here in Breeze Swept. Let's just take a look at one more property here. So this here, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, just shy of 3,000 square feet on a 3rd-acre lot. Looks like it was recently remodeled, so it is still keeping in touch with new trends. Does not have a pool, but has canal access. This is the Biscayne Canal here. Currently listed for just a little over $1 million. This is a pretty nice property. Shocks me every time I see some of the prices here, especially on the canal. You know, in my opinion, canal is considered waterfront, but there's nothing special about it. Some people think so. I happen to be in the camp that thinks that living on a canal is not that special. In fact, my parents' old house was on the canal, and what I can tell you is make sure you have your mosquito solutions intact. You know, get all the mosquito repellent, and make sure that it's being serviced regularly by you know what I mean, a professional who handles these kinds of things, pest control, because those canals bring mosquitoes like no one else's business, let me tell you. But this is a nice property. All right. Just an example of 2 different properties there, and there isn't a whole lot for sale right now. In Bree Swept, however, you've got some pretty good examples, and let's just take a look at this one right here really quickly before we get back to the video. All right, so it's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, just over 2,100 square feet. It's definitely a modern update. And the home appears to be vacant. I see that there's a pool in the back here, which is a huge plus living in South Florida. There are community service centers that have pools, but it's nice to have a pool, be able to cool off because it's pretty hot down here. But this is your pretty typical home. It has a nice remodel, and it doesn't quite have all the bells and whistles that this other more expensive home has, but I'm pretty sure you've got a good feel and an idea of what a Bree Swept is going to give you in terms of buying a property. All right, so here's inside the park, and this park was redone recently, about a year ago, I would say, and I really think they did a pretty good job. It was shut down for about a year, unfortunately. A lot of locals come here with their kids, they'll play, have a good time. Actually, let me show you this here. I think this splash pad is pretty cool. It's a nice way to get out while it's really, really hot and cool down. Let the kids run around, play, and get tired, wear themselves out. So as soon as you get them home, it's time for a nap. It's just something new that they put in the park as well. Nothing special about a water fountain. But this bottle dispenser is definitely new. And I really like that a lot better. Makes way more sense. Instead of everybody putting their mouth on the water fountain to get water through that dispenser there. So good on them for using their brains. And it is definitely hot out here, if you can't tell by me sweating. So that's something you want to consider when you're living in South Florida. Got a pretty cool half court here. And I don't know if you want to call this a jungle gym play area or whatever it is. These always used to be here, but they were completely redone, completely remodeled. Definitely did a good job. They put some money into the place, and I'm glad that they did. And this is my favorite part of the park right here. Whew. Under here where it's nice and shaded under this gazebo here. Uh, you know what? I really wish the park had Wi-Fi, maybe connected to this, or I don't know. I'm sure they could have figured it out. It'd be nice to have Wi-Fi, set my laptop up right here, have a nice breeze, some protection from the sun, and be able to get some work done. I literally think that's the one thing that the park is missing. Otherwise, they keep it really, really clean, and it's not open 24/7. It does have operating hours. And behind us here on the canal, we got some canal homes. So these run south all the way into Biscayne Park, and then they also run north into the Breeze-Swept Estates and further into North Miami. So that's the Breeze-Swept tot lot. So now I'm going to check out the Breeze-Swept Estates, which is literally just up the road here. And I want to show you what the neighborhood is like there. So we're right in front of the property here, literally just a few moments away from the park. And we're going north on 2nd Avenue right here into Breeze-Swept Estates. Sun has gone down a little bit, so it's really nice. Got a nice breeze coming in. Got a pretty nice view of the canal over here. Sometimes I see some people do some fishing over here. Not sure that that's allowed, but it's just what I've seen. All right, and we're getting deeper into the neighborhood here. A lot of mature trees in this neighborhood. It's an established neighborhood, so there's pretty much no new construction here. Houses that have been renovated, but no new construction. In fact, I don't think there's one infill lot in the whole of Breeze-Swept. Not that I know of anyway. All right, so now we're in Breeze-Swept proper. As I was mentioning before, no new construction in this area. But you do have some homes that aren't quite two-story. They might be split level, like this one that we're passing right here. Lot sizes here are usually 1/4 acre to 1/3 of an acre. Some you might find 1/2 an acre. What I really like about Breeze-Swept is that it's quiet. It's very, very quiet. I actually grew up about a block away and used to ride my bike all through these streets here. It's about 8 or 9 city blocks worth, but it's really tightly packed and very well connected. Not a lot of through traffic, except for back over here on Northeast 2nd. Sometimes you get a lot of people coming from 125th going north to 135th on that road there. Otherwise, the through streets here are really quiet, and for the most part, you're not going to get a lot of traffic, except for if maybe there's a detour somewhere or somebody just gets lost. What's really good about this area is that the pricing is still reasonable. Now, over on Northeast 2nd, there's a canal. They consider that waterfront. I don't particularly consider that waterfront. But those homes over on the canal, the waterfront properties, so to speak, those are going to be in the 800,000 to $1 million range. But a lot of the other homes here in Breeze-Swept range from 500,000 to 600,000. Just kind of depends on if you want a fixer-upper or not. But that's a great price point to be in, considering the location. Super close to the highway, maybe about a 5-minute drive. So you're about 5 minutes away from I-95 and about 10 minutes away from US 1. This is probably one of North Miami's fastest growing areas, simply because of the affordability. You're really gonna get a decent house that's not too old, in a quiet neighborhood where the resale value is really good as well, mainly because of where it's located. So I just did a loop around one of the blocks here. Gonna get in the car in a moment, drive around a little bit more, show you some of the other blocks. All right, so we just left Biscayne Estates, and now I'm right here in front of Griffing Park before we go into the Griffing Estates. And I just wanted to show you the park here. It's not quite as impressive, in my opinion, as Biscayne. My opinion is a little bit biased there because I have kids, so I want somewhere where, you know, my kids can run around and have kid-friendly things to do. This one is more of a general park. It's a nice wide open space. A lot bigger than Biscayne, that's for sure, by about 4 or 5 times, I would say. And the community does have some events that are held here, maybe 2 or 3 times a year. One of the most notable ones is going to be for the holidays. So this whole area here is pretty much taken over and turned into a fair, which is pretty cool. It's free to the public. And, you know, you got to pay for food and maybe pay for some tickets to get on rides. But this is definitely a nice spot to come, relax, have a seat, plenty of space for the kids to run around as well. And not too much cover for the shade. You do have that spot over there, but there's nowhere to sit down. And just to the south of me, there's a little a table there that's covered by some nice, big, beautiful trees. So that's the park there. And before we head over to Griffing Estates to kind of take a look at what the neighborhood looks like, let's jump back into the computer and take a look at one of the properties. All right, now Griffing Park. I wanted to show you as well a little bit about what you can get, at least right now, what's available in Griffing Park. I've got the same filters set up, and I always, like I said before, I always like having this low to high because you never know what's going to be on market. I always assume that the lower priced properties are not remodeled, which you can tell by this one right here, sitting at $499,000, a 3-bedroom, 1 bath, just over 1,300 square feet, not remodeled. But what I'm doing is starting from the lowest and just kind of scrolling down, and I'm looking for something that is remodeled. This might be a good candidate. 3-bedroom, 2 bath, just over 1,500 square feet. Older property, built in 1925. So properties like this, you definitely want to check out the electrical, the plumbing, the roof, make sure that all these things are in good shape. But this does look like maybe not a full brand new remodel, but a maybe remodel in the past 10 years and a well kept property. I like this chandelier, it's a pretty nice touch. Looks like these are original cabinets. I can't tell 100%. And it looks like this might be the original countertops here as well. But this is a solid home. I live here. No pool. And the lot's not that big. Quarter acre lot would be 10,000 square feet. So this is just shy of a quarter acre here. And let's just look at one more in Griffing Park. Again, just want to give you an idea of what's available right now on the market. And I personally love working with buyers because, you know, just because it's listed at a certain price doesn't mean it's going to sell at that price, right? Everything is negotiable in real estate. And so I love helping people go through these properties, really find the right one for them, something that speaks to their soul and is a good fit for their family. So this one is on 125th Street. Again, we're going to ignore that because it's on the main road, but this does look like a pretty nice property. Looks like it might even be new construction. Let me see. So it is not new construction. Super nice property, but we're going to skip this one because it's on 135th. I advise all my clients, do not buy on the main road. Even if you don't have kids, it's noisy, and getting into your driveway and out of your driveway is going to be a headache. All right, so let's take a look at this one here. 3.2, just over 1,800 square feet, about a third of an acre lot. With a pool and a jacuzzi. It's obvious that this house is vacant. So this might have been recently remodeled as a flip. They didn't do the property much justice. They really don't have much pictures up here. But you get the point. You've got one here at 830, 725, and 619. It's kind of the range here in Biscayne Park. Or excuse me, not Biscayne Park. This is Griffing Estates Park. What I like about Griffing Park Estates is that it has really big lots and it has a really, really nice suburban feel. It's in the city of North Miami, but North Miami is pretty small, all things considered geographically, in terms of size. And this is probably one of the largest suburban areas here. It's pretty quiet, doesn't get a whole lot of traffic. Just to the south of us here is 125th. And maybe about 10 blocks north of us is 135th. And then all the way to the west of us is Northeast 2nd Avenue. And I would say it goes to Northeast 6th Avenue. So it covers, a good north to south, 10 city blocks, and east to west, maybe about another 6 to 8 city blocks. Kind of guesstimating on that east to west there. They've made it a point of installing these roundabouts all over the place because people used to speed up and down over here, and it made it really dangerous for kids that were riding their bikes, people that were taking walks. So you'll see these sprinkled in all over the place, which I love. Take a look at this house. Oh my goodness. It is on a huge lot. You really don't see lots this big in Miami quite often. Check this out, y'all. So I'm at the corner, going to the north corner. I started at the southwest corner there, and I'm going up to the northwest corner of this lot. Just want to show you how big this lot is. Definitely bigger than the ones in Breeze Swept Estates. Coming back around, This is probably an acre lot here. Not saying that a lot of the properties available are going to be on lot sizes that big, but they are out there if you're looking. Back where I started, coming down the other way. Massive, beautiful. Same lot size in Miami Beach is gonna run you $2 million, easy. So you can see why I like this area. The city does a pretty good job of coming around with, what do they call them? The code enforcement police. So they're really making a big push, a real effort to make sure that even though this isn't an HOA, everybody keeps their properties up, keeps them in good condition, doesn't have a whole bunch of cars, you know, sitting outside being worked on, destroying people's property values. In fact, put my trash out on the wrong day one time, and I think it was the next morning or the afternoon. The next morning, the city came and they gave us a warning. They said, if you don't pull your trash in, we're going to fine you. They came next morning. I was at work, but by the time I came in the afternoon, I saw the notice and I was like, man, these guys are fast. They don't play around. I mean, obviously I didn't do it on purpose. Just put it out on the wrong day. But that's the kind of community that you'll be living in here in Griffing Park Estates. No new construction. It's a really established neighborhood, so you're gonna find mostly remodels here. And there are no empty lots either. Maybe one or two scattered lots. But definitely no new construction for sale. Good afternoon. Folks here have a real pride of ownership, and that's really important in any neighborhood you decide to purchase in. You want to make sure that you and your neighbors, at least in terms of your property, are on the same page. Everybody wants their property values to be high. So in a way, everybody kind of keeps each other accountable, at least in this neighborhood. And I'm coming up to Northeast 6th Avenue here. This is the outskirts of Griffing Park. I'm not gonna go all the way to the outskirts, but I'll show you real quick. Get a little closer. So there are really no condos or townhomes available in this area, but there are some apartments on the outer edge, on 6th Avenue, on 125th, and on 135th as well. So on 3 of the outskirts, we've got some apartment buildings. And I definitely wanted to show you this. So this is right at the corner of, I'd say, 128th and Northeast 6th. This used to be a church with a strip center just to the north of it. And it recently got demoed. Still looking into what's gonna end up coming up here. But all over the city of North Miami, you've got a bunch of developments popping up. There's a senior living 55 development, not too far from where we're standing here. A couple of apartments. So my best guess is that this is going to become apartments, which is pretty cool. North Miami needs some more reasonably priced apartments. All right, y'all, so that was Griffing Park. I'm headed back to the car here, and we're gonna zoom over to Biscayne Park. I would say if I had to rank it 1, 2, and 3,
Swept Estates, Griffing Park Estates, and Biscayne Park. That Biscayne Park is my favorite, but for the money, I'd rather live in Griffing Park Estates. Swept is really nice as well. It's just a little bit too small. Doesn't have quite the same community feel as the other two. By far, in terms of community feel and community involvement, Biscayne Park is the winner. So you're gonna definitely want to stay tuned to check that out. I'll see you in a bit.
All right, let's take a quick look at what is available on the market right now in Biscayne Park. Same filters as before, got it low to high. And as I was mentioning earlier in the video, you're gonna start at a higher price point here in Biscayne Park for sure. Let's take a look at this one at a high level. So this is a pretty clean property. For 1,500 square feet, quarter-acre lot. Let's take a look at some of these pictures. So the flooring is intact and matching all throughout the property, which I always love to see. I hate mismatching floors, just my opinion. It's your standard tile, nothing special. So this is a well kept home, solid home. They obviously did a remodel on the bathroom, possibly the other restroom, which is not shown in the pictures here. Not an impressive appliance package, so you can tell that this wasn't like a fix and flip. A developer didn't go in here and completely fix up this property. But it has a whole lot of potential and it's clearly move-in ready. Currently listed at just shy of 800,000. Let's see what else we can find. Let's find one that's close to the park here. This one's right across the street from the park. All right, beautiful 3-2, 1,800 square feet, quarter-acre lot. Let's look at some of the pictures of this property. Boy, did they really want to highlight the outside of this property. All right, finally to the inside. Super modern in terms of how this property was put together. Really, really nicely done in the bathroom here with the double vanity. Double vanity has this, and they come with their own mirrors there. Kind of got this cool floating area that normally where it'd be the bottom of your vanity where you can hold your stuff, where the plumbing might be showing. So kudos to them for kind of changing this style here. Looks pretty interesting. Obviously, this bathroom here was completely remodeled. Nice tub. This is a beautiful property. And it's right across the street from the park. I mean, you wake up in the morning, you walk outside, you walk about, I don't know, 100 feet, if that, and you're at the park. Park is really the center of the community over here. And Let's see if we can find a new construction one because there is some new construction going on, especially in Biscayne Park. All right. So let's just take a look at the cheapest new construction in Biscayne Park. Priced at 1.3 million. But look at this. They just did a month ago, they did a $40,000 price cut. I love seeing these price cuts. It gets me amped up because now I know what mindset that the owner and the agent are in. You know, they want to make a deal on this thing. Who cuts $40,000 and doesn't want to make a deal? Plus, look, it's been listed 326 days. Unless they just don't want to sell this. I love these opportunities. They are great for finding an awesome deal, whether it's new construction or not. All right. Let's take a closer look at this. Honestly, nothing special, nothing fancy. Does have great appliances. All new flooring throughout. And I see here it says this image has been digitally altered. So I'm not sure what else is altered in some of these photos. But it's a vacant, pretty basic property in terms of new construction. And the price point is pretty solid at, you know, $1 million, considering it's Biscayne Park. Now, right over here, seeing that this was built in 1928, but it says new construction, yes. So did they buy this and tear down the old property and build a new one? I'm not sure. A little discrepancy there. So let's take a look at one more new construction because there might be some discrepancy in the data there. I mean, as you can see, if you want new construction in Biscayne Park, the prices get pretty high up there in the millions. But we're going to just take a look at this second one here. 4-bedroom, 4-bath, 1,700 square feet, just a little over that. Look at that, another massive price cut that they made. And just shy of a 1/4-acre lot. This one built in 2025 for sure. Let's take a look at some of the pictures. This looks like the perfect family home here. You've got 4-bedroom, 4-bath. You've got the pool, and they left enough area for the kids to play here. Plus, they've got this buffer around the pool here, so it's going to be really easy to put up a fence or any type of protection for the little ones while they're playing outside, if they're unsupervised. Really love that they have this outdoor area. You can add a screened-in fence over here just to protect yourself from, you know, the bugs, or just get your pest control sorted out. They've got those fire sticks, you know, that you can just put into the ground and light them on fire. And most pests hate the smell of that, so it's a pretty good deterrent. And it's open concept. Kitchen opens up into the living room. Right, they got the nice shaker cabinets. Everything here is obviously 100% brand new. New stainless steel appliances. A little mud room here with brand new washer and dryer. I'm seeing a lot of this tub style here in new construction and in remodeled properties. I don't pretend to know all of the trends, but I see that this is coming back in style quite a bit in a lot of Miami properties, rather than having like a stand-in shower with the glass, having a proper tub or a mixture of both. And this one has a mixture of both. Nice built-in closet space here. I love this. My wife would too. She'd fill all these in a heartbeat, let me tell you. This kind of looks like wallpaper. I feel like they cheaped out over here, but pictures can be deceiving one way or another. This is a nice property. Nice stand-in, standard stand-in shower over here. And what looks like to be, it's probably a one-car garage. I'm gonna guess and say that this is a one-car garage. Maybe you could squeeze two in there. Honestly, I think this backyard space is one of the reasons why I love North Miami so much. North Miami has a whole bunch of space, or a whole bunch of properties that have reasonably sized yards. You don't get that in some of the neighboring places, like Aventura. You do get that somewhat in North Miami Beach for sure. But North Miami has a bigger selection of these properties that have larger lots. I've even seen them go up to an acre, which is pretty rare, but they are out there if you're looking. All right, so this was a beautiful property right here. Really good representation of what you're going to get in Biscayne Park. Listed at $275, not selling, but I'm sure it will go to a very deserving lucky family.
So I'm here at the park, in Biscayne Park, and the sun has come down. Ooh, there's a beautiful breeze. Man, and I'm so glad it's shaded over here like this. This is a really, really nice park. And of the three neighborhoods, probably the most exclusive neighborhood. So they have more money to put, into the local park. Right over here, there's a playground for kids. And I don't know if you can see, let me get a little closer for you guys. There's another playground just over there, but we're gonna end up on that side because I'm gonna loop around here. Right here, there's a full-size basketball court. I purposely decided to come out here when there's a lot less traffic. And when I say traffic, I mean traffic in terms of people, a lot less people out here, because on the weeknights and on the weekends, there's a lot of activity here. A lot of people with their kids, walking their dog. There's a ton of community service center activities that happen here. Baseball, football, all the different kind of sports for the kids when that stuff is in season, especially during the summer. So right now the kids are in school, so it's the perfect time to show you. So we just passed the basketball court there. Right here they've got a pretty nice size baseball field. And I'm gonna loop around it here. We're gonna come back around to the other side just so you can see how big this park is. I also like this area and this park, a lot more because, well, the park is really tucked away from heavy traffic. No major roads touch this park here, as opposed to the other two that we went to. One of them being Breeze Swept, that's actually right on 125th Street. The entrance is on 2nd, so the entrance is a less traveled road, but getting in or on the side is 125th. So that's a really, really busy street. And it's fenced really good, and there's actually a bridge connecting there, so no cars are gonna run through the park. But this is super tucked away. I mean, I don't know if you can see here. It says slow. It's a constant warning to people that they need to go slower in this area when they're driving. So not only is it tucked away, really, really quiet, in a very, very much residential neighborhood, but it's huge. And it has a lot of different things going on. All these lawns are really nice and manicured. And there aren't a whole lot of these lots like this here, but there are more compared to Griffing Park Estates and Breeze Swept Estates. So every once in a while, you're going to see an empty lot like this that's fenced out, where there's going to end up being a really nice, modern, luxury, new construction property. A handful of those are available, but there are more and more, definitely, as time has increased. In fact, I'm walking up and I see another one here. This is also right across the street from the park. Check that out. There goes another one. Really, really hot area. And Griffing Park, the one that we just came from, that's on the corner of West Dixie, which is pretty busy, but it also is kind of not necessarily, it doesn't abut, it isn't right on the corner, but it's maybe a half a city block away from 125th Street. So that one is pretty busy too. But this one, you get none of that street traffic. Don't have a whole lot of cars around this area zooming up and down. In any event, there's so much space for the kids to run around. You can bring a towel out here, hang out. Unfortunately, you are not allowed to have dogs in the park. So that's a bummer for those of you who have furry friends. But you could definitely walk them along the side. They just don't want them actually inside the park. Here's another neat thing about Biscayne Park right here. They've got a bird sanctuary right here as a part of the park, as well as a butterfly garden. And if you check out the information online, they'll give you different times and places that they have events for the kids. But this community is super involved, and this park has been this way for as long as I've been in this community. They just keep improving on it. So we're getting back down to the other side here. So there's two playgrounds for the kids. This is the second one here. Check that out. And I'm going to cut through here by where we started, where there's a nice little shaded area where you can sit down. You can actually catch Wi-Fi from the building right here, which is awesome. Remember, it was what I was saying that North Miami, the Breeze Swept one had. And right over here is that other area for the kids to play. Now, I didn't want to actually walk through Biscayne Park because there are no sidewalks. And when I say no sidewalks, I don't mean that there are no sidewalks at all, but they're scarce. So a lot of the people that are walking their dogs in the morning or taking a jog or a power walk or what have you, they're literally sharing the road with the cars. And again, like I showed you, there's all those slow down, watch out for our kids signs. And most people respect that. In fact, most people are scared that they're going to get a ticket if they don't respect that as well. So even for those who don't, people generally drive slow here. But I didn't want to actually walk in the street to get you guys some footage of the of the actual community. So check out this tour of me driving the community, and you'll see some of the really nice houses. There might be some new construction here or there. And then we're going to head over to downtown North Miami, which is just north of Biscayne Park. So that's going to be on 125th Street. That's where you're going to find all the colonial shopping, like all boutique style shopping. And then maybe about 10 blocks east towards Biscayne, you'll find Publix. So, and then you've got Whole Foods also right there next to Publix. So you've got shopping pretty centrally located right here in Biscayne Park. I mean, it's the closest to the beaches as well. So if you go east on 125th, you'll cross a bridge. It's a toll bridge, and then you'll end up in Bal Harbor. So this is the closest to the beaches, probably the nicest, most expensive of the three neighborhoods. For sure, I would say the most exclusive, but it's also the most well-known. The other two, you know, Griffing Estates and Breeze Swept Estates, those are lesser known, but still really, really great neighborhoods. You know, the most new construction is going to be happening for sure here where we're standing in Biscayne Park. The others, some spotted new construction, but at this time, I don't think there is anything available. Usually you're going to get a tasteful remodel. A lot of the people that I talk to want to live in this community because it's just so centrally located, super close to US 1, a little bit further away than Breeze Swept to 95, but you're still about 10 minutes to 95, maybe 15 minutes if there's some traffic. And then you're close to Costco and you're close to all the shopping. Bal Harbor, like I said, is just across the way, and Aventura Mall is about 15, 20 minutes away. And that's the truth for the other two communities as well. This one just seems to be the most well-known and the one that most people are asking about when they're thinking about getting a single family home, especially if they have a larger family or they really need some more space in North Miami. All right, so I'm gonna head back to the car here and we're gonna get headed to downtown North Miami. So I'm here in downtown North Miami, literally just a few minutes from Biscayne Park, right here in front of the police station. And downtown North Miami is on 125th Street. It's about a mile or so of a collection of strip centers. And it has obviously the police department right here behind me. Right here is the MOCA Museum, which is pretty cool. They've always got different things going on. They've got art from local artists and as well as international artists. And the curation of art there is always evolving. So I'd say every 6 months or so, they've got something different going on. I really like the museum here. My wife, myself, and the kids have come here a couple of different times, and they've always got good staff, friendly staff, knowledgeable staff, which I like the most. And it's at a reduced rate if you live here. So you can just show them 2 forms of ID that prove that you live here. And if I'm not mistaken, it's either a reduced or a free rate to come here to the museum. The museum also serves as a kind of like a community service center because there's a camp that's done through here, all kinds of after-school activities, and the list goes on. You can check it out online at Museum of Contemporary Art, MOCA Museum in North Miami, and it'll kind of show you a lot more of what they have to offer. So I'm just going to go into the museum here really quickly, just into the front. They're actually closed today, but they're going to let me get an exclusive for you guys. This is just the front area here. So usually there will be events going on down here, and then different displays of art. They've got several different areas where the art happens. Excuse me. And that's the museum there, so you're definitely going to want to check that out if you come to the area and you're curious about North Miami. I'm leaving the museum here, and City Hall is right next to the museum. So you've got the police station right behind me, then the MOCA in between, and City Hall right here. This here is 125th Street, and it's a busy street, so like any other street that's busy, it's really noisy. But this is our downtown here. Now, the downtown here isn't known for luxury shopping or anything like that. There are some pretty cool restaurants, like boutique style restaurants, independently owned here. So that's something to check out. Otherwise, it's kind of your run-of-the-mill mix of different local shops, some real estate firms, insurance firms, a couple of health centers. Further up there, there's a Family Dollar in one of the strip centers. Over the years, though, they have been really making a concerted effort to revitalize downtown North Miami. And I know that the city has even cut deals with some of the businesses here to keep them here as rents have been rising. And I got something really cool I want to show you guys. That's where we're headed here. So stay tuned. I'm going to tell you what it is. So you guys have got to check this out, Vegan Tierra. If you're into vegan food, this spot is somewhere you definitely need to check out. They've got some really good dishes. And I'm coming up to that Family Dollar here. Or Dollar Tree, excuse me. Not Family Dollar. And I'm headed to something that's actually first of its kind here in North Miami. Part of the city's expansion. And right over here, you've got a Planet Fitness. Just ahead of me, there's a Subway, shoe repair shop, driving school, a local CPA, an accounting firm, Wingstop right here in the plaza. So this is pretty much our downtown right here. Again, nothing too fancy, nothing to write home about for sure, but it's got everything that you're gonna need. And it's really, really close right here to Biscayne Park as well. I think we're about half a mile, I think we're about a third of a mile away from the park. Biscayne Park, that is. There's a real cool flower shop coming up over here. Actually used to be a Haitian food restaurant. I can't remember the name of it. Food was pretty good. But after 2020, unfortunately, they went out of business. Definitely a super cool flower shop there now. Businesses in North Miami have been pretty resilient over the years that I've lived here, which my time in Miami, North Miami, I've spent the most of it in, over 15 years. I'd say that the downtown has had a lot of different places come and go, a lot of different restaurants, a lot of different small businesses. But those spaces never stay empty. And a lot of the buildings are being purchased by new real estate investors or seasoned investors. And they're not so much being repurposed, but they're definitely getting a really nice facelift, a lot more curb appeal. People are coming into the city and dumping a lot of money into the properties. And if you're stuck with me, you're going to want to check this out. One of the newest commercial properties right here in downtown North Miami, just off of 125th Street on 124th Street. And it's a 55 plus senior living community. Now, there hasn't been one before in North Miami, so this is definitely something new. Something new and something pretty exciting, I would think. Now, just about a year and a half ago, this thing was a complete vacant lot. And this development group made a deal with the city of North Miami to make this facility So if you've got aging parents and you want to have a nice, clean, beautiful, brand new facility for them to live in, this is a great option. Now it's 55 plus, so it doesn't have all the bells and whistles of some senior care living facilities. But it is going to have a whole lot of amenities. And again, it's one of its kind. And at the price point, it's going to be considerably cheaper than Aventura, which is about 10 minutes north on Biscayne in terms of price point for the same 55 plus community. So this is a huge win, not only for North Miami, but for residences in neighboring areas as well. Wanted to highlight something really quickly. You're going to see a lot of residences like this one here in Biscayne Park. So it's basically a multifamily property. You can live on the top, you can live on the bottom, rent out the top or the bottom, whatever it is. And it usually has a stairway on the side going up. This is a really traditional setup in terms of architecture from when Biscayne Park was originally built. You can see that was a remodeled one. Here's an older one right next door. I'll just zoom in a little bit. There's another one. It's a little older. Right next door to the brand new one. And the building itself is not brand new. But like I was saying, there's a whole lot of redevelopment going on here. So people are buying up properties left and right, really breathing new air into them, giving them curb appeal, going in, fixing all the electrical appliances or the electricity, fixing the roofs, making sure the foundations are solid, getting the plumbing updated, because a lot of these are 1950s to 70s plumbing. And it's really turning the neighborhood around. Neighborhood has always been on a upswing, slowly but surely. But I'd say in the last couple of years, it's really been, we're starting to see the fruits of all of it, so to speak. So what did you think? Based on what you saw today, is the city of North Miami the right fit for you? If not, that's okay. If so, that's awesome, because the city honestly does have a whole lot more to offer. In any event, if you're thinking about moving to Miami, reach out. Let's do it the smart way. Until next time, God bless and be well.